In this module, Module 9, we're going to be going in depth on creating a reference document. Our objectives are numerous, as you can see. We're going to insert a screenshot, look at captions, cross-referencing, insert and link our text boxes, compress some pictures, work really in outline view and master documents and sub-documents. We're going to look at symbols, insert and modify a table of contents, use a navigation pane, insert and update a table of figures, update an index, and specify pages that need to be different, odd and even pages in your footers. Here we can see the completed project. When we look at a reference document, it's any multi-page document organized in a way that the users can easily locate all of your material and then navigate through the documents. So that could be maybe some user guides, a term paper, pamphlets, manuals, proposals, and plans. And we're going to be using Word to create not only a title page, we're going to have some figures in there, some table of contents, some images. So as you can see, when you complete your project, this is what it will look like in the end. So there's a lot of things going on here. And we will have this completed by the end of this module. Okay, let's get started. We're going to be downloading the file for Textbook Project 9.1, Word Module 9, creating a reference document. So ensure you start with the correct start file. I have it open already right here. And in this one, we're going to be preparing a document to be included in a reference document. Our first bit that we're going to do is to ensure we see all of the pages that we have going on. So we're going to go to View, and we want to view multiple pages. So in this case, I have 3 pages there. If I wanted to see all 4, I would zoom out a bit so it shows all 4. I find it a little difficult because it's sort of hard to see, but we can see that we're going to be inserting images into a Word document. So we'll do online, pictures from files, but we have to insert a screenshot down here. And so that's our task right now, is to insert a screenshot. First thing we need to do is to find the screenshot that we want to insert. So in our search bar up here, we're going to type in Word Help and Learning. And we've got that open. It says Word Help and Learning. I'm going to select more search results for Word Help and Learning. I just want to get some information off of the internet. So I'm going to choose this Word Help and Learning right here. I clicked on the link and it came up with some support for Microsoft. So I want to put this as a screenshot into my document. So when I do that, that will just show up as the picture, right? That's our goal, to do it as a picture. Now that it's open, I can go back to my Word document. I can close this window right here just because I'm done with that search. And I will look for where I want to insert my screenshot. So way over here on page 3, it says to insert a screenshot. I'm going to put my cursor right there so that's where I want to place it, is there. And then I will go up to Insert and Screenshot. And in my available windows, it shows that I have my screen clipping that I wanted right here. Or sorry, I have this Word Help and Learning. So I will click that and it comes up now as a picture. I just now need to verify that the size is correct. So up here in our size, because it's selected, it shows our size. It's about 3.52 and 6.5, which is perfectly fine. That's the size that I would like to see my screenshot to be. Now that I have my screenshot there, I want to just make sure that I still have it selected. I want to put a caption on there. So I'm just make sure it's selected. You didn't deselect it. And we're going to go into the References tab up here, into References, and we want to insert a caption in our Captions area here. So we'll click on Insert a Caption. Automatically it comes up as Figure 1. It's a label of figure, and we're going to put it below the selected item. I could put it at the top or wherever if I wanted to. So I want to just leave it as the defaults. I am going to then continue on with Figure 1. I'll just give it a name. So I'm going to click the colon, and I will say that is help and learning. Oops. Window screenshot. Okay. So we've got that, and we'll say OK. So now we have Figure 1, Help and Learning Window Screenshot. If I happen to make a mistake there, I could go into my captions. Whoops, sorry, cancel. I could go in and double click it and change my, like if I just type something incorrect, I could fix it right there. Now that we have our caption in, we just want to hide all this white space just to sort of make our document easier to read. So I'm just going to put my cursor right here where it sort of looks like double click. So it says double click to hide our white space. I'm just going to double click, and then our document will then sort of look like a flowing page. It takes away all that white space. So now we can work with creating cross references. I might zoom it back in just so that it's at 100 so I can see what I'm doing right now. A cross reference, we use cross references basically so that we can cross reference a figure to the information and explain what the contents are of that figures. Word creates or allows us to insert cross referencing, which is basically just text that electronically refers the reader to another part of the document, sort of like a heading to a caption or a footnote. And you can sort of click that cross-reference to instantly go to the text that relates it. So we're going to create a cross-reference. We're going to go to the end of the last sentence below the to insert a screenshot, right where it says window, so a word help window. We're going to put our cursor right there. We're going to press the space bar to put a space in there. We're going to put in a left parenthesis. So we'll just put in a bracket. We're going to insert the References tab if we don't have it already. We're then going to go to cross reference right here in our captions. We're going to create a cross reference. We'll just click that. And we come in with a lot of information, and these are the which numbered items. So we have numbered items, so all of these different things in here. We're going to click on the reference type arrow so that we can choose figures. So we'll click on the reference type arrow, and we're going to scroll down until we see the word figure. Okay. In this case, I only have one figure. I'm going to click on the figure, which we have right here. I'm going to ensure that insert reference to says that it's only label and number, not the entire caption, but only label and number. And I will then choose insert. Okay. And then I can choose close. And in my in my parenthesis right here, this figure 1, I can then close my bracket. So this now will have a current click to follow link. So it will link directly to this figure right here. So if I moved this somewhere else, right, I could click there and control click, follow the link. It would go directly to my actual figure that I have. So we have created a cross reference with this figure 1 to this document. Now that that's done, we are going to do that a few more times. So we're going to actually search for other images. We'll go to our Home tab and we will go to Find. Click the drop down arrow and we're going to say Go To. And in Go To, it comes up usually with Page. I've done this before, so it comes with my last. So I'm going to choose Graphic. And I'm going to go to the previous graphic. It shoots up and shows me the cloud here. And then I'll just say Close because it took me exactly where I wanted to go, was right to that graphic. So we're going to insert captions and cross references for the final 3 images that we have. We have a cloud, a picture, and an online image. So I'm going to select the cloud or click the cloud to select it. I'm going to go to my reference tab. I'm going to insert a caption. And in my figure 1, it came up as figure 1 again. That's because we're going back up. It will alter the other one and make it figure 2 at this point. I'm going to do a colon and a space bar and type in cloud shape in the description. And I will say OK. Now I'm going to go to the end of the last sentence above the cloud right here. It says insert a shape such as the cloud shown below. Well, I want to change the word below, such as the cloud shown. I'll get rid of below. And I'm going to type in the word in. And right there will be my cross-reference to that image. So I'll put a space in there, which I did. I'm going to create a cross-reference. And I want to choose a figure. I want my cloud shape. And it says insert reference to. And in my insert reference to, I want to choose in my drop down that I want to insert the cross reference at the location, and I want only the label and the number. Just make sure that's exactly what I want, and I'll say insert. Okay, and I will close that. If I look up here, it says insert shapes such as the cloud shown in figure 1. If I click on that, it has a follow the link to that one. All right. So next I'm going to go back to my Home tab. We're going to do that again. I will find, I'll go to my previous graphic. And this time I have a sunflower field. So I'm going to have to click on the picture itself. I'm going to go to references. I'm going to insert a caption. This is again figure 1. I will put a colon. And in this one it is called sunflower field picture. Oh my goodness. Not sure what's going on there. I will say OK. And now I want to find out where I want to put it. So it says below, that was taken with a digital camera. Following, insert the picture from a file such as the one shown below. And we're going to get rid of below again. And we'll say in, and then we're going to have it linked to that picture. Okay, so cross-reference. We want the sunflower field picture, only label and number, and we will insert and close, and such as the one shown in figure 1 that was taken with a digital camera. All right, so let's do that again. So I'm going to go home. I have another one to do. I'm going to go to the previous graphics, which is this world map. Click close, or continents, I guess. So I'll click on the picture, go to references, insert a caption, This is figure 1 again, and this is called world continents image. World continents image. Say OK. And then it says to explain how to insert such as the world continents shown, and I'll change below to in, and I will do a cross-reference right there. So world continents image, insert and close in figure 1. And now we have them all done. If we have issues, so let's say I've got that one done. And if it comes up, so say for example right down here, it shows that this says the one shown in figure 1. Because I have it open and because it's just running, we might need to update that. So I can just, it should actually say figure 2. So I would just right mouse button click on that and update the field. So it updated automatically to figure 2. I'll just double check that this shape down here, insert shape, that didn't update, so I'll update that. So that's figure 3. And this one down here, I will right mouse button click and update field. So now that's figure 4. So they've all the figures have done well. They have updated it, or I've updated this up here, but they have automatically updated the captions themselves. Our next task is an index. So the last page of the document, or the reference document in this project, is actually an index. And an index just lists important terms discussed in the document, along with its corresponding page number. So you can just sort of look it up in the index, right? So we need to do some marking where we would mark important points for the index, and then it would be included in the index itself. First thing we need to do is ensure that our show hide buttons are on. So I'm going to go to home and I'm going to do the show hide. And we can see that we have in our codes, or sort of codes are called, so we have a screenshot is a duplicate. So we have all of these things that are happening here. But what we want is, and this is part of our index right here, what we want is to go to the second sentence in the to insert a shape heading. So I'm going to go up there to insert a shape. Okay, so this is a paragraph a heading. So that's going to be part of our index, of course. But we want the word, the text that we wish to. So we have a drawing object. So we're going to select a drawing object, just a drawing. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so that we can see here. So this is a drawing object. So I'll select a drawing object so that this goes as part of our index itself. We need to ensure that the reference tab is showing. So we'll go to references. And in references, we have index right over here. We have mark entry. If I select mark entry, the main entry called drawing gallery, or drawing object, sorry, will come in. Our options are to use cross-reference, a current page, and we want that to say drawing object. And so you can just leave all these for now. This is a sub-entry, so cross entrance to a sub-entry, but we're not going to worry about that. That would go to a text box as well. So we're just going to leave it that way. We're going to say mark, and then I'll close that so you can see what happens. And as soon as we did that, you'll notice that a drawing object, and so this is going to be part of our index now, is the word drawing object. Okay, so as it sits right now, we had the insert shape is already there. So if we scroll down to index, oh, we haven't inserted our index, so we haven't done that yet. So these are just going to be part of them, and they're sort of automatic when they're headings. We're going to continue on and do that to other indexes as well. So we can scroll through. We'll start at the top and see which ones are in there. So we have an image, a graphic, a download, and these are all important pieces. If there's any other that comes up, you would put them in as well. So we have an online image, royalty-free images, etc. So anywhere we see that, and you can only see that with your show high buttons on, or markers on. So that is all of them. It looks like we have all of the important things: a drawing object, a screenshot, a screenshot. So we've got them all. Our next thing is we want to get rid of those formatting marks right now. So we'll just note that once I turn my formatting marks off, I have that. I want to show my white space. So between any page, doesn't matter which page it is, we'll just double click to show our white space. And now we're starting to look like a regular document as well, again. All right, our next task is to create some sidebar text boxes. And these are text boxes that are on the side, and they run from top to bottom instead of just sort of within the text. So we're going to put our cursor at the very top of our document. So we'll just click right there. The top of the document up here is where we want our insertion point. We're going to go to the Insert tab, and we'll go over to text boxes. So over there in text, and we have a drop down list for our text. And so this is the text box gallery. And we want to scroll down until we find one that says grid sidebar. Oops, went too fast. So we have grid quote, but we want grid sidebar. So I'm going to click that sidebar text. And now it says sidebars are great for calling out important points. Obviously, this is the text that was already in there. We're not going to use that text, but that's what it is. We need to now enter and format our sidebar text. Right, so our sidebar title is going to be "What is malware?" And we're going to ensure that font. We'll just check the font. And we want that font itself to be 12-point font. So I'll go home, drop that down to 12-point font. And then I'm just going to type in the data that I want in here. It's all selected, as you can see. So we're just going to type that in. Oops, my typing today leaves something to be desired. So malware, it should be small, short for malicious software, is software that you actually, let's see if maybe it'll let me dictate there. Let's just double check that I can do this. So I just might dictate so I don't have to type. Usually acts without a user's knowledge and deliberately alters a computer or mobile device's operations, period. Examples of malware include viruses, comma, worms, comma, Trojan horses, comma, rootkits, comma, spyware, comma, adware, comma, and zombies, period. Okay, so that worked pretty good, hey? So let's just double check. Malware, short for malicious software, is software that usually acts without the user's knowledge and deliberately alters a computer or mobile device's operation. Examples of malware include viruses, worms, Trojan horses, rootkit, spyware, adware, and zombies. Hey, you gotta like this dictate, because why should I type? I should have done that for the last one. Okay, so that says that we want to change the font size to 10. So let's just double check what the font size is. So it's 11. I'm going to change that to 10. Okay, and then enter. I want font size to go back to 12. And I'm going to type in or speak malware protection tips. Okay. Okay, malware protection tips. And then I'll change this back to 10-point font and finish my typing. Oh, and I want it to be bullets. Just following along here. Use a firewall and an antivirus or similar app, period. Be suspicious of unsolicited email attachments, period. Download apps or programs only from trusted websites, period. Close spyware windows, period. Before using removable media, comma, scan it for malware, period. Backup regularly, period. Perfect. So then we're going to change the line spacing of these tips right here. So I'll select these guys and I'll go to the line spacing, and we want to change it to 1.15 right here so that it's a little tighter. And then we're going to just deal with the actual text box itself. Okay, so I'm going to click on the text box. So we have the edges of the text box. We're going to change the fill color. So we're in a shape right now, and you'll notice that because I've clicked on it, my shape format comes up here. And I'm going to change the fill, the shape format in our shape styles. And we want our shape fill and to blue gray accent 6 lighter. So let's find blue gray. Is this blue gray? Blue gray accent 6 lighter 40%. Let's see. Lighter 80% lighter should be here. Lighter 40%. There we go. And we're going to select one page down here. We have one page or print layout, or the one page. Okay, I'm doing it differently. View, one page. So we see what it looks like. And maybe I'll zoom it in just a little bit more, just to make sure that we can see what's going on. What is malware? Perfect. And change the zoom to page width, which we didn't do. Page width. Let's go page width. Oh dear, goodness gracious. So now we have what is malware, and we have our nice little text box. So instead of one long text box that we have here, the project actually splits the text box across the edges of 2 pages, specifically the first and third pages. So what we want to do is we want to use the navigation pane to display page 3. So we're going to click on navigation up here in our view tab. We'll click the navigation pane so that we have our navigation right here. So it sort of, it makes it a little bit smaller. So we have that. We can drag it to be whatever size we want. So maybe I want to make it a little bit bigger so that we can show a little bit more. I'm going to click on pages, and then it shows my pages. So maybe I'll just make it a little bit smaller so that it's got like all of my pages. It sort of just views this. So we're going to go to the third page right here. 1, 2, 3 right here. And then we have it automatically clicks up here. And so we just wanted to get to that page, so we leave our navigation open. And then we're going to insert another sidebar text. Okay. So our insertion point is at the top of page 3. So notice it's right here. It's on the top of page 3. We're going to go back into insert, and we're going to go into our text box right here. We're going to use the drop down arrow. We're going to go to the grid sidebar again. I went too far again. Grid sidebar. It's going to come up with another text box, but we're going to push delete. Delete. So, okay, so we just emptied it. It's totally empty. And then we're going to link it to the other. So we want to link 2 separate text boxes so that we can flow the text from one to the other. But in order to do that, the second box must be empty, which is why we deleted all that stuff. So we're going to click on the first page. So in our navigation, we're going to click on our first page to display that. So we'll just click on our first page so it goes right to our text box. And then we're going to select the text box itself, and we're going to go into shape format. Okay, so in our shape format, we want to, in our text right here, we want to create a link. So this lets your text flow from one text box to another. So we create a link. And then we sort of have this funny little thing come up. It's kind of a picture, I guess. So we'll notice that's there. And then what we'll do is we'll get it, get it to the next shape that we got there. And we'll just scroll down and then click. Okay. So because we scrolled down and clicked, it went down to that area there. We created a link to that box. So we had to scroll. Don't use your navigation or it won't work. So we scrolled to that other one. The link stops. So now that we have it in our thing, it doesn't really show anything yet. Let's see. So now I'm going to go back up. I've done the link. It doesn't look like I did anything. But what I want to do now is I want to shorten this. Okay? So that I can have just what is malware. And then all this other stuff should go to the other text box. Okay? So now I'm going to click here, or in this text box, and I'm just going to, let's see, scroll up. Still haven't done it all yet. I want to scroll, like I'm just making it smaller. Okay? Zombies. Okay, and here's the test. Now, did it link it to page 3? Aha! Look at that. Isn't that sweet? It did it. So all the other things came down there. Actually should change this. It should be the same color. I want to fix this. Should have fixed that before. Let's go to my shape format, shape fill, and there. Now it looks much better. So what we've created is, oops, I want to click off that, is that it is now linked. So this just continued on. If I wanted to remove the link, I would delete the text box, just FYI. Okay, so we need to fix a few things and compress a picture. So I'm going to fix this text box just so that it's a little bit smaller. Want it to be smaller, and then I kind of want to move it down. So I got that a little bit smaller, and then I'm just going to move it down so that it's below the cloud. So I'll just keep moving it so that it's part of the cloud shape there. And it looks okay there. Just make sure that everything is working. Yep, that looks exactly the way it should be. The final thing we have to do is sort of this part A bit before we upload it to Cengage, is to compress our pictures, because sometimes the pictures are just a little bit too big. We want to reduce the file size to speed up any file transmission. So we're going to click on the picture so I can see my navigation is right here. I have a picture in here. So I'm going to select the picture, and I'm going to notice that my picture format came up because it was a picture, not an image. And in that, I will go to the picture format tab, and I'm going to compress my picture. So I'm going to do some adjusting. I'm going to compress the picture. And it says I can choose to apply only to this picture. But in this case, I want to deselect that so it applies to any pictures that I have. So I'm going to apply it to all pictures, not just this picture. I want it to make sure that it is at print to 220, excellent quality for most printers and screens. So I'm going to compress that. It doesn't matter if this delete is on, it's no big deal. And if I only wanted to do one picture, I would apply it to only this picture. So I'll stick OK. Doesn't show that there's anything that really happened to that, but it did exactly what I wanted to do. So we're finished with the first part, or part A. So I need to make sure it's saved. I also am going to go to my Cengage, and I'll do that. The picture is compressed, and we'll finish off and then upload and see what I did wrong. And once that's done, we'll move on to part B. Okay, so I'm back to Cengage so that we can download or get started with sort of project B, or it's 9.2 in our textbook project. So I have my new Word document. I'm just going to open up that new Word document. One of the things that we're going to be working with, we're creating a document that actually includes other files. So we're going to create a master document that allows us to organize all of the documents. This master document is simply a document that contains links to one or more of the other documents, and each of those documents is called a sub-document. So in addition to the sub-documents, the master document can contain its own text and images as well. So we have a master file that is going to be called Using Word Inserting Images Master Document, and it's going to contain links to one sub-document, which is called Inserting Images. And the master document is also going to contain other items such as a cover page, a copyright page, a table of contents, a table of figures, and an index. So in this section, we're going to create the master document and insert all of the necessary elements in the document to create a finished master documents. So the first thing we need to do here is we're just going to change the theme. So I have a blank document, and I'm going to go into design, I'm going to go to themes, and I'm going to choose the gallery theme. Okay, so I have the gallery theme done. And then I'm going to start building things in outline view. So I'll go to view, and instead of print layout design, I will change it to outline. Now, even though I'm in outline design, I can still use all of my other tabs, but I will go back into outlining to look at outlining. So I could, I'm on level 1, and I have arrows here that promote to heading 1, or promote just one up. This one is demote, like it brings it down a level. And this one is to demote to body text. So that goes directly to body text. We want to ensure that show text formatting is on and show first line only. All right, so we have that all set up. There's a few things we're going to type in here, and once we this is going to be the master document that will link to other subdocuments as well. So the Using Word Inserting Images master document contains 3 major headings: inserting images in Word documents, table of figures, and index. The heading Inserting Images in Word Documents is not entered in the outline. This is because it's part of the sub-document that's going to be inserted in the master document. So the first page of the outline, the copyright page, does not contain a heading. Instead, it just contains 3 paragraphs of body text, which we're going to enter directly into the outline. So we're going to demote at the beginning. We'll use our demote to body text right here, so that it is body text, because this is going to be the copyright. And we're going to type in, or for me, I'm going to go to home and do my dictate. And we're going to just type in some information. I'll have to fix it as I go, but that's okay. Using Word dash guide number 26 dash inserting images. Okay, it doesn't like the dash. I gotta figure out another word for it, because you know how it is. We always want that to go in exactly the way we want it. Okay, using Word, guide number 26, so I should capitalize that. Might have been faster. Okay, so that is part of our stuff. To receive additional guides in this or any other series by the Information Resource Center at Wilmington College, send a message to Rosie Schmidt at rschimt@wilmingtoncollege.cengage.edu. Okay, so to receive any additional of this guide, or let's view, let's go to outline. I'll take off show first line anyway, only. To receive additional guide, in this or any other serious information resource center at Wilmington. Oh, it didn't do too bad. Spelled Rosie's name wrong. cengage.edu. Okay. Okay, it came out as a hyperlink, and I don't really want that to be a hyperlink, so I'm going to right mouse button click on that, or maybe I'll just highlight it. And I want to remove the hyperlink. Okay, and in this one, I'm going to type in 2021 Wilmington College. And so I have all of the information. If there's anything I need to fix, I will fix at Wilmington College. Perfect. And now I'm here. I'm going to promote to heading 1. So I'll just click up here, promote. And then this next one says promote to heading 1. So I want it to go to heading 1. And we're finished entering the body text for the copyright page. And so we're getting started in here. Then I'm going to go to the layout tab. And I just want to make sure that I add a break because that was the copyright page. So I need to insert a next page or section break. So I'll go into my breaks and I want a next page section break. So it'll be section break and a next page. Okay, and the next pages I'm going to type in a table of figures and push enter. And I want a page section break next page there as well. So I'll go break, next page, like a section break. And I'll do that again. And the last one is going to be index. And so I have a page break, section break there, a section break there. And my last page is going to be the index. Okay, so our next step here is to insert a subdocument into the master document. The subdocument that we're going to insert is the inserting images.file. We're not going to do the one that it is the one we created earlier, but it's a clean version and it's a correct version. It doesn't have our name on it. You'll notice that in Cengage here, when we started with our new blank document, they gave us the supporting files. So this images is the file that we're going to enter in there. The one thing I want you to note is that when we insert a document into our master document, we must make sure that they're in the same location or in a folder together, because what we end up doing is creating links, and those links will be broken if we remove or delete them. So I've downloaded all the files that I require and put them here. So I just downloaded the images file and put them in there. Okay, so we'll get started. So we'll go back to our Word document and we're going to go into outlining, and we're going to make sure that we show document. So we have this master document group. We just want to make sure that we show all of the information so that we have all that stuff. We want to make sure that our cursor is placed where we want it. So I'm just going to click on the section break next page so that the cursor goes right there. And that's where I'm going to insert it. So I have to make sure that I show my document so that the rest of the group, the commands, come up. I want to click the insert. Okay, so I'm going to insert a subdocument, and it wants me to find it. I know that I put it on my desktop in my folder. So I'm going to take this SC_WD_9 inserting images, and I'm going to open that. And it says in here that the style exists, or you're adding, and the master document, would you like to rename the style in the subdocument? No, I don't care. I'm just going to ignore that for now. I don't want to change the style for all of that. Now I want to also go back in here and show first line only. I don't really want all the information on there, so I wanted to make sure that I only show the first line. So then I will scroll back, and you will see that there's a bunch of stuff in here, right? So we have our table of contents, and it all of a sudden came up a whole bunch. So I can collapse my document so I don't have to deal too much with it, but expand my documents, collapse my documents. So it sort of shows what's in there in outline view. I'm just going to collapse my document. So now it shows that it was my document is in there. And now I can continue on with this. So I got it there, and yeah, that's pretty good. So we could, if we wanted to alter the images, or sorry, the document that we have, the expanded document, we could alter that, and we could follow the hyperlink to fix or alter something. If for some reason we wanted to remove the subdocument from this, we could just select this document right here and then delete it. Sometimes we want to convert it to part of the master document, or break the connection between the text in the master document and the subdocument. In that case, we would expand the document, and we would click the subdocument, the link, which is right up here. Sort of see it over here, and then we could unlink it. Okay, so yeah, we don't really want to do that right now. We do want to hide the formatting marks, so we're going to go home and get rid of the formatting marks so that when we're looking in expanding our document, we don't see all of that excess stuff that's there. And the last thing we want to do is just close our outline view. When we close our outline view, you'll notice that we're starting to be able to, we got rid of outline view, so we can see now we have using Word Guide 26, inserting images. We have our table of contents, inserting images in Word documents. Then we have our document. So we've now combined it all so that it's in here. This is the document that's in there. Let's keep going. We don't have our table of figures or index done yet, but you'll see that when we're in outline view, if we went back to view and we went into outline, it looks like what the heck is going on. But what we're doing is we're using outline view just as a simple way of doing it, and then this master document that we have going on will combine all of those other documents into one. So it looks a little bit better now that we got rid of our outline view, we can see that our table of contents is there, and etc. All right, so our next thing is we're going to insert a few more pages in here. We'll get a cover page going, we'll get our index and all sorts of stuff done. So this step is to insert our cover page. We're going to go to Insert on the Insert tab, and we're going to insert a cover page. It doesn't actually matter where your cursor is anyway. Cover pages always start at the beginning. We're going to choose Faucet. Let's see if I have Faucet. Yes, I have Faucet. And then I'm just going to go to View, and we'll just go to one page here. Let's go to the one page, and I'll zoom that in just a little bit. And we're just going to change what's on this document. So in our document title, I just click. I don't have to delete, I don't have to select, I don't have to do anything like that. So that one's going to be called Using Word. Whoops. Oops, get my caps lock off. Oh, I guess it's doing it. Using Word. It's all caps, I guess. And then we're going to, in the document subtitle, it's called Guide number 26, Inserting Images. And the abstract down here is, we're just going to change abstract to say, oops, I didn't want it there. Type in there. A series of guides designed to strengthen your word skills. Okay. And what else do we want? Oh yeah, the author down here. And we're going to have to select this, and we're not going to put our name. We're going to say it's from Information Resources Center, and the email address, we're just going to delete that. So we'll select it and push delete. Okay, so we'll delete that. And we have info. Yeah, so look at that. Oops, so I see I made a mistake here, and that's your word skills, inserting images, a series of guides design. Perfect. So we have created the cover page using Word. And the next step is, if I scroll through, I want to center this text right here, like the stuff on the copyright page. So I'm going to select the text here, and I'll go to Home, and I will center that. Okay. And so everything should be ready to go for that. And I just look at Wilmington College, and I see that I need to, it should be capital C for that. Okay, so we're going to change some margins in these pages. In order for separate pages to have different margins, they need to have section breaks applied to them. So we're going to create a section break between the cover page and the copyright page. So I'm going to turn on my show hide. And then I want to put my cursor right by the U. I want a section break between the cover page and this. So I'm going to go into Layout, and I'm going to go to Breaks, and I'm going to put in a section break, next page. Oh, continuous, sorry. And this inserts a section break to start a new section on the same page. But there's already a break between them as pages, so I'll just put a continuous one in there. We don't actually see anything, which is surprisingly. Then I'm going to go to my margins on our layout tab. I'll go to my margins and I'm going to choose, what am I going to, I want to do wide margins for this page here. So I did a wide margin. You'll notice that it tucked it in there quite nicely because we want this to be small, like the margins to be quite wide. In other words, this page is sort of special, right? So we have it all centered and we have wide margins. So our margins are like 2 inches. Looks close to 2 inches. So now we have, they're separate. So this page keeps its same margins up here. Then we have our copyright page, which has narrow margins. And if we go back down into the table of contents page, it goes back to the narrow margins. Well, sort of a difference between wide margins means that it's narrower text, that's all. All right, next, we're going to insert a symbol right here, down here, because we want it to have an @ symbol. So we're going to insert a symbol. So we'll go to our Insert tab and we will scroll until we find our symbols over here. And we'll look for, there are some symbols here in a gallery, and these are the ones that were used recently. We can have, or we can display the specific ones we would want, but we're going to go into more symbols and we're going to look for the symbol that we're looking for, I guess. Recently used symbols are down here. If it's not in your recently used symbols, you can scroll for it. So we could scroll through here looking for the copyright is what we're looking for. And I think it's in Latin 1 supplement. And it should be around here. There it is right there in Latin 1 supplement. So if you don't see it, it's sort of one of those things that you have to find. So we're going to select that and we're going to insert it. And it doesn't show that it's there, but it is. So I'll just move this. Yeah, there it is down there. And we can close this. And then we'll put a space bar in there so that it says copyright 2021 Wilmington College. Okay, so we'll notice that this, this copyright page doesn't quite look right. So we're going to do some vertical alignment on the page. You can tell Word to center contents of the page vertically using one or of two options. We can place an equal amount of space above or below the text, or we can evenly space each paragraph between the top and the bottom margins. So we're going to do this and we're going to evenly space it. So we will put your cursor anywhere in this page right here. We're going to go into the Layout tab and we're going to look at the Page Setup group. We're going to click the Layout, just looking for it, Orientation. We got Page Setup in the Setup and we want to, I'm just checking, let's go to Page Setup. It's in there. Oh, we're going to go to the More here. We need the Page Setup because we want the More button. And we're going to click the Layout. And oops, I think I did wrong. Yeah, we want Layout. I didn't do it wrong. I was just looking at that. And we're looking at the page alignment. So we're going to change the vertical alignment to Justified. Okay. So we want it to justify on the page, and we're going to leave this set as this section, and we'll just say OK. So if we see what happened is we now have using Word, I'll just minimize that down a bit, make it a little bit smaller. Using Word, Guide 26, inserting an image, to receive this guide or any other series, and it's copyrighted at Wilmington College. So what we've done is put in a vertical alignment and justified it so it looks perfect. So we'll go back to page width. Let's go back to my view, and I will go page width, and we can see what's going on. So we've got a section page, and if there were any errors in here in typing or anything like that, I would fix them now. The next thing we're going to do is insert a blank page because we want a table of contents to get put in here. So the table of contents is after the reference, or this page right here, the copyright page. So we want to insert the insertion point to the left of where are we putting it? I just have to double check. Oh, inserting. Yeah, we want it down here. Oh, the table, we already have the table of contents in there. So we want inserting images in Word documents. So the table of contents looks like it's already in there for some reason. I wonder why the table of contents is already put in there. Because when we put a table of contents in, say for example I deleted that. Yeah, let's just delete this table of contents and then we'll start again. So let's just delete, and I'll remove table of contents. Okay, there we go. There, okay. So we have a section break continuous. Maybe I just did too much. Let's undo that. There we go. We'll leave that section break in there. Okay, so I'm going to, we have a section break continuous. So I'm going to put inserting images into Word documents and right there. And I'm going to put in a blank page. And so I'll go up to my layout, and I'm going to insert a page. And there's several ways of doing this. We're just going to click on blank page right there. So now I have a blank page up here. So we have this blank page right there, which is great. And so then I'm going to go to the blank page on page 3. So it's right there on page 3. I don't really want my formatting marks to show. I don't know why. I like my formatting on, but they don't want it to show, but maybe I'll just leave it there just so that I could keep it. We're going to go to our references tab. And when we look at our reference tab, we have our table of contents over here. So we've done footnotes and citations and captions. And we're going to choose the table of contents down. And we want the automatic table of contents, which is number 2. So we want this one that comes in, and we'll look, and now we have a table of contents. So I'm not sure what happened here, but we'll just figure this one. If you receive the source from anything, you do not use the file if certain it doesn't contain. I don't think that's supposed to be there. So I think that what we'll do is just remove this one right here. I'll just push delete and it's gone. So we've got table of contents and table of figures, and there. It looks exactly the way it should right now. The table of contents should not be the starting page number like page 1. Instead, the subdocument should be the starting page number in the document. So that would be down here. Right, should be the page number. So we need to ensure that it is not it has a section break in there so that the page numbers will start in the next page. So we're going to put in a continuous section break here. So we have a page break right here, down right here, but we want a continuous section break. So I'm going to go up to my layout, I'm going to go to my breaks and I'm going to make it a continuous. Okay, so what I have is a page break and a section break. So now my table of contents is one section, and this starts a new section down here. Okay, don't actually want that there, so I'll just get rid of that. I didn't want that extra paragraph marker in there, and I'm going to turn off my show hides so that we can see what it actually is going to look like without all of the paragraph markers in there. Our next step is to put in page numbers, and these page numbers are going to start at the table of contents. So I'm going to put the insertion point in the table of contents. Okay. I'm going to go to the Insert tab once again. And this time I'm going to go to page numbers. Okay. So I want to insert page numbers in the header and footers because page numbers belong in the headers and footers. And I'm going to scroll down or click down, and I want to choose Format Page Numbers. All right. So in the table of contents, I'm going to have formatting my page number formats here, and I want to show 0. We start at 0. We're not continuing on. We have 1, 2, 3. We're going to ensure that we start at 0 for this, and that means that there is no page numbers going to happen on this page. Okay, so we have 0 page numbers with start at 0. Our final piece with this is to actually update the table of contents. So it still says things are on page 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to click on the table of contents, ensure we have the table of contents selected. So if I clicked off of it, we make sure we have it selected. And we want to update the table right here. So when I update the table, we want to update the page numbers only because we changed the page numbers. So we're going to say OK. And now it changed our page numbers because we made sure the table of contents was at 0 and we forced that. So now our table of contents looks much better and our page numbers start correctly. Okay, sometimes we want to find, document or text that is actually formatted a specific way. So this is just to show you how to find a format. So I'm just going to click off of that, and I'm going to go to the Home tab, and I'm going to go to the Find. And in the Find, I'm just going to do an advanced find. And I'm not going to have any text in there, but I'm going to choose More. And this More allows us to do quite a bit of stuff to find. So I can find wildcards or sounds like or all words, but in this case I'm going to go to Format. And I'm going to choose Font. So I want to choose Font, and I want to find anything that's italicized. Okay, so I'll say OK, and I will go to, I have that, and I'm going to find next. So I see insert an image file, find next. Oh, that's italicized. And it's just doing it in this. I want it to do it everywhere. Let's get out of that. I was in the table of contents, so that means that it's just going into the table of contents, but I could also do that here. I could say it stays open. I could say find next to see. There, it doesn't seem, this is the only place that there is italicized. So it searched the whole document and it only found the italics in my table of contents. So I don't want to change anything. I just wanted to see where it was. And we may use that for other things where you're looking for your bolds. So we don't really need to do anything about that. We're not going to do anything. I just wanted to double check. Next piece is that we're going to format some text as a heading, and that was kind of the text that I deleted there that was driving me crazy there. So I think piece of this was actually done for us, but we're going to walk through how to do that. So in some cases we're going to have a paragraph of text or some text that we want to go in our table of contents that's not a heading. In our table of contents, it automatically chooses heading 1, 2, or 3 and puts it in our table of contents. But in this case, I may want to add a paragraph. So I'm going to find the paragraph that I had there, and it's going to be, it says if you receive an image from a source, we'll just have to find that. It should be there somewhere. Maybe that's what I was supposed to search for and it's actually not there at all. So it should be, if you digital file, let's see if I can find that. It's just above the, there it is. This was supposed to be, for some reason, this was supposed to be italicized. So I'm going to italicize that. Not sure why it wasn't italicized. So that's what we would have found. I'm not sure why it's red, but we'll leave it there. Do not use. So we're going to copy this piece right here, or select this, I guess. The formatted paragraph is selected. We're going to make this a heading 3 right up here. So heading 3s will become part of it. That's why it did that. So we made it a heading 3 in our styles. And now we need to update our table of contents again. So we'll go back up to our table of contents, click in the table of contents, and do an update table. And when we update table, instead of just updating page numbers only, I want to update the entire table. And I will say OK. So now we said it shows that if you receive an image from other sources, blah, 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 blah. So that allows us to put a paragraph that became a heading 3 in our table of contents. The final thing we're going to do with our table of contents is to format it to make it look better. So we want to specify the format, the page number alignment, and some tab leaders. So we're going to go into our References tab. We're going to click Table of Contents, and we're going to Custom Table of Contents. Okay? So in this case, what we want to do is we want to ensure that we have the tab leader arrow. We want tab leaders. So we have tab leaders in there. We want our general formats to be simple. Okay. Oops, the tab leaders went away. So we want it to be simple, but then no tab leaders came up. How rude. Click the formats, table of simple to change the format style. Place a check mark. We want to right align our page numbers. Okay, so we right align our page numbers, and then we have to choose our tab leaders because it went away. But we have simple. We have 3 levels. We could choose to have more levels if we wanted to, and we'll say OK. And it asks if we want to replace this table of contents with the one that we just created, and we'll say OK. So now we have fixed everything up. There's certain things that you could choose to do. We could choose to make it smaller or narrower. There's many things. We could have chosen to take off bolds, just select it all and make it all so that there is no bold or everything could be bold. But that is the final thing, I think, for the table of contents. Next step is to create a table of figures. So we're going to go to View and show the navigation pane. And we're going to go to the heading Table of Figures. Yes, this is a small document and we could scroll, but if you get to those large documents, you would not want to scroll all that much. So just going to Headings, we'll go to Table of Figures. It drops us right to the Table of Figures heading, and our cursor is right at the beginning of that page. We're now going to ensure that the formatting markers are off. Okay, we don't want them on. We want the show hide. We want them off. We'll go to References, and we're going to insert a table of figures. This table of figures button is right here in the captions area. We'll click Table of Figures, and we want to ensure that we show our page numbers. We right align the page numbers, and we're going to do the format from template. We're going to include the label number that is there, and we're going to say OK. And oops, I put my cursor on the wrong side. I'm just going to do an undo. I meant to put my cursor over here and push enter. Silly. And now I'm going to insert it again. So we'll insert a table of figures, make sure everything looks exactly the way it should. And we'll say OK, and now we've got our figures in there. Figure 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I wanted to change the format of that, I could just change the formats. I do want to edit a caption and then update the table of figures. So if I click on any one of my headings, I want to change this one, but I think it was already changed, Word Help and Learning Screenshot. So I'll scroll down to find that Word Help and Learning Screenshot. So if I needed to fix anything here, it should read Word Help and Learning Window Screenshot. It's changed, which is good. And say I needed to change it, for some reason it's already changed. I'm not sure why it's already changed. I could enter or change any words there. And then if I go back down to my table of figures and click on my table of figures, I can then update my table of figures as I go, simply by saying Update Table. Okay, Update Tables. I want to update the entire table. It's not going to change anything because there wasn't anything different, but that's how I would, if I changed any one of my figures, that's how I would update that. Our next step is to create the index. So I'm going to scroll down. I actually can close my navigation pane. Let's close that. I'll scroll down till I get to the index. I will push enter. And here I'm going to go to my references. I don't know why the references tab wasn't up. It should have been back. And I'm going to insert an index. And this shows the preview of what it's going to look like. So I want to change this to classic. I want to right align the page numbers. I want one column, make sure it's on one column. And if you change it to, just make sure that once you change that to one column, you still have your right align on there. And have tab leaders. We want the classic or the dot dot. So it's going to look like this. And then we'll simply say OK. Now I have my index. I have download, drawing objects. It's alphabetical order, which is exactly the way I want to do, or I want. Our next step is to simply mark another entry and mark a few more entries, and then we will update the index again. So we should notice that insert a screenshot. Oh, it insert the screenshot is so there. See, this was one of those things that it seems to be already done. But say we had insert a screenshot was not there, for some reason, we would go and simply go to our view. Let's put on our navigation pane again. And we want to go to the heading, insert a screenshot. And we would select the words, insert a screenshot, oops, just like that. And then we would simply go in to our references and mark the entry. Now, if I turned on my codes, I could see that it is already in there as insert a screenshot, so I could double check. If I was missing one, I could just highlight it and mark that entry. And I will turn off my codes there, and then I'll go back down to my index and into references. And if I made any changes here, I would just update the index itself, and it would automatically update the index. So now we've completed the index. So if we go look at our document that we have here, we have, maybe I'll make it, let's go to view, multiple pages. Okay, so we're starting to look like the document that we were looking for. So using Word, we then have our copyright page, our table of contents. We have our images, all of our information. Then we have created figures in there. We've added some text boxes. We have created a table of figures, and we have created our index. And we have 6 pages. And our final thing that we need to look at, I think it's our final thing. It seems like it went on forever. There's probably a few more things. We're going to do make sure the odd and even pages use a different, like when we open a page, we want our page numbers to sort of be staggered, just so that it looks better. So now we're going to work with our page numbers. We're actually going to be looking at the page numbers that they've already put in here, but we're going to edit them just a little bit to make them exactly what we want. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my view, and I will ensure that my navigation pane is showing. Oops, navigation pane. All right, so we'll keep our navigation pane with headings. So we'll show that the headings are right there. We're going to then go to insert, and on the insert we're going to go to our footer, and we're going to edit our footer. And when we edit our footer, I kind of like to see more pages. So maybe I'll go to view, and we'll keep it on multiple pages, so it doesn't want to. I like to see them with multiple, oh, that's just because of that. Okay, I got it. Okay, so we still have multiple pages, that's good. Okay, so where was I? Let's go to insert my footer, and I will edit my footer. And you'll notice here that I have a footer for section 3, and then it shoots over to section 5. I'm not sure why it has section 5 in there and it lost section 4, but I will worry about that later. So in order to do what we have to do, I want to write a line, but first I want different odd and even pages. So I want to have a different header and footer for the odd and even pages. So it shot me back down there, but that's okay. I'm going to go back into my insert. I'm going to go back into my footer and go back into my edit my footer. Okay, so now our pages started doing some funky things, which is okay. So I'll just select this whole thing. I have different odd and even pages. I want to do my alignment. So I'll go to my alignment. I want to ensure I'm right aligned here. And then I'll say OK. And then I'm going to go up over to my page numbers. And in my current position, I'm going to choose accent bar 2. Okay, so put page 1 in. And then I'm going to go next. And when it goes next, you'll notice it went to page 2. And in this page 2, it put it onto the other side. So it's not all aligned on the right side. So in this case, I want it on the left. It is correct. It is done the same page numbers that I was doing before. It was the accent bar 2, which is good. So we now have page 1, page 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I think this one is page 6, so that's good. So it is page 6. So we have all of our page numbers set up. So it looks good. And when we're done with that, we can simply close the header and the footer. Now, when we create long documents like this, we sometimes need a gutter. And a gutter is basically shows, it's sort of the space where you would put the binding in a book. So we need a gutter margin. In this case, we need to create one. So we're going to go to the Layout tab, and we're going to go to the margins. And in this case, we are going to do a custom margin. It's a specific margin that we want. And we're going to have, the left is going to be 0.75. We want 0.75 is the right, and 0.5 is the gutter. In this case, there is no gutter, but we want a 0.5 gutter. And the gutter position is going to stay the same. It's going to stay left, and we're going to apply it to the whole document. If I'm not yet, we're applying it to the whole document. Because the whole document gets done, just not that one. So we'll click OK, and now we can't really see it, but we have we've closed the margins a bit, and we've created a gutter on this side here. Inside, we'll just take a check and see how this looks. It looks like it's working out pretty good. Okay, our next one is that we're going to really check our layout for our printed pages. So we're going to go to File and Backstage View, and we're going to go to Print. And in this case, I'm not going to print anything, but I want to see what it looks like. So if we look here, we have some, and maybe I can see all of them. Can I view all of them? I should be able to view all of them. So we're going to change the zoom level down so we can view all of the pages. So we'll see that we have some blank pages in here. So this was our odd and even, so using Word. Word, when we use insert odd and even headers or footers, in the sections, what they do is it creates the blank pages where we have changed sections. So we now looks like we have this one, and these guys go together. And I think we got her all. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So we have just the right amount of pages going on because we created section breaks between these two and between that. So I can close my Backstage View. And if I wanted to, I could adjust those section breaks. We can change continuous section breaks to add an odd page section break. And that would switch to or we could do that switching to draft view, just because things are easier to see. So we're going to go up to View, and we're going to go into draft. Okay, so we can see in draft, we can see all of our section breaks that we have. Okay, so we're going to scroll to the top of the document, and we can sort of see what it kind of looks like in draft view. All the figures are gone. But so it's just pretty basic. So we're going to insert an odd page section break, and this fixes the extra pages in the printed document. We're going to replace a continuous section break at the end of the cover page with an odd page section break. When we do that, Word will start the next section on an odd page instead of only on an even page. Okay, so we'll notice this, we're at the very top. So we have a continuous break at the bottom of the cover page, this section break right here. Okay, so that break, I'm going to actually close that for just a second. And we will change this break here. We'll go to our layout tab, and my cursor is in the right spot. We're going to go to breaks and insert an odd. Okay, so we have an odd page section break. And then you can insert as many breaks as you want. So if we then go back, I'm going to change out of this view. And I'll go back into my print layout view. And maybe I'll go back into my print. Let's see what it did. Okay, so it took out that extra pages that we had. Okay, so it no longer is in there. Just wanted to make sure we could see it. Okay, so draft view, we have a section break for odd page. Okay, so the final thing we're going to do is to insert some bookmarks. So I'm going to go back into a regular page layout. I just want to see it. Maybe I'll do page width. I don't like it, and we'll drop it down to 100%. I prefer 100%. So we have our navigation pane up here, and we're going to create a bookmark to all of these, to insert an online image, insert a picture from file, insert a shape, so that we could actually have just bookmarks that would send us there. It allows us to easily work through the document. So the first thing we're going to do is to select to insert an online image. And we're going to go to the Insert tab. And you'll notice that we have these links. This is a bookmark. So we're going to create a bookmark for that. We're going to give it a name. And I forgot to take the E, but I should fix that actually. Cancel. I will. It doesn't really matter. It's going to go here, but I should take the whole word. Okay, so I'll click bookmark, and this one is going to be online image. Okay, it's hard to say what I wrote in there. Online image. So it needs to be one word. I will add that. And then I'll just go to insert a picture from file. I'll select that one as well, go to bookmark, and this one I'm going to, what am I going to call this one? Use the name picture from file. And then I'll add, and let's go to insert shape. Oops, cancel, forgot to select. Insert a shape, add a bookmark, and that is called shape. I'll add that one. Let's go to insert a screenshot, select it, go to bookmark, And this one is going to be screenshot. And I will click add. So we have some bookmarks there. Now that we've created the bookmarks, if we're anywhere in the documents, we can just go up to our links into our bookmarks, and I can click online image and select go to. Okay, close. So it goes right to there. So that's how we would use our bookmarks. So that now we've created our bookmarks. So that is the end of it. We're going to save this document as per Cengage, and then I'm going to upload it and see what's wrong. And you can continue on with the rest of the module.